Hello there!
I'm Emily,
And I'm Kayla.
and we just want to talk movies.
And today, the audio quality is hopefully going to be way better than last episode.
Yes.
Because I have a working microphone now. The last episode, it sounded like I was in an echoey box, trapped far away from Emily.
Yeah, it sounded like you were back across the ocean.
Yeah. But we're back, hopefully, if nothing goes wrong during this recording. And today, what are we talking about?
Since it's spooky season, we have our first Halloween-y themed episode, and we are going to be talking about before they were famous in
hell
horror
yeah.
movies.
What a fun topic. Because
Yes.
many big name actors were in horror movies as their first roles.
And a lot of them don't want you to remember.
Nope.
But we do. We have all the receipts.
We're gonna expose
Yes.
everyone.
I'm very happy to share them.
But first, news? I have a little bit of news. Stranger Things news. I don't feel like this warrants a sting, but I'm just gonna quickly put this out there. That we got a couple more teasers since I last spoke. One of them was just the cast, like, talking about, it was like a fun little promo where they're like, ooh, you're probably gonna want to rewatch this series, so these are our tips on how to do it. And so that was fun. Everyone in the fandom is like theorizing because it was like cutting between different groups. All of the teen group were together, all of the boys were together, but then Will and Eleven were on their own. And so people are like, what does this mean for their character arcs? I'm like, I feel like they just did that because of like scheduling and like maybe people were filming sometimes and people weren't other times. But then we got another teaser where it showed like maybe 2 more seconds of footage than what we got in the original little trailer they put out. But it was like one of those things where like the directors are talking about the show and how it's going to be the final thing, and then they showed behind the scenes footage. So that was fun, and it almost made me cry. And we got new Mike and Eleven scenes, which look really like pretty. Like they're either talking during the sunrise or the sunset, and the lighting is really pretty, and I'm like, ooh, this is nice. This is nice. Anyway, that's pretty much all the new things we got. And then we got some more like behind, like fully like BTS footage stuff. Then I have news about the Talamasca show, which is part of the Anne Rice Immortal Universe on AMC, which includes Interview with the Vampire. Ever heard of it?
And unfortunately, Mayfair Witches.
We don't talk about her. We don't talk about her. She's not. I don't claim her.
No.
But Talamasca is a show about the secret order of like psychics who kind of keep an eye on the witches and the vampires and all the other supernatural stuff, and they try not to get involved, but they often do get involved. And they're a big part of the books, but they don't have their own series, and this series is kind of like taking all the stuff from the books and making it into their own series, which is pretty fun. But the big news we've gotten is the episode titles. There's going to be 6 episodes, and the first 2 come out on the same day. So we get 2 episodes on October 6th, 26th. That would be a lot more fun if they were coming on the 6th. But anyway, the titles are Episode 1, We Watch and We're Always There. Episode 2, A Wilderness of Mirrors. Episode 3, The Task at Hand. Episode 4, Wet Work. Sounds pretty suspicious. Episode 5, The Puzzle Palace. And Episode 6, The 752. I don't know what any of that crap means, but I'm here for it. Honestly, I watched the recording of the San Diego Comic-Con panel that this show did, and it's made me very excited. At first I was very skeptical because Mayfair Witches I'm
Toilet
silent.
Lane.
Toilet Lane. But this one, I mean, I don't want to go into it thinking it's going to be mind-blowing, but I feel like, I don't know, these teasers are making me excited, and I think it's going to be a fun ride. So I will be seated on October 26th.
Great. Well, that brings us into our topic at hand. I just wrote down a few of my favorites because we could like go on and on about every single famous person who's in something horror related before their careers took off. But basically, back in the day, in particular, still, I guess today, but definitely back in the day, horror was very much like B movies. Unless it was stuff like, well, even if you go to like The Exorcist or Psycho and the bigger films like that, they were still seen as like more the silly movies. Horror movies weren't really taken seriously as far as like cinema and like getting the appreciation and
You
everything.
wouldn't see them at the Oscars.
No. So a lot of people, a lot of actors would just take either lead parts or bit parts or whatever in small horror movies just like to make money, I guess, and to get some experience in the field because they were, easier things to get. And that led to a lot of well-known actors basically having the skeleton in the closet, no pun intended, because then they go on to do all these revered things and they're such a professional auteur of acting, and then like, but don't look back at their first movie because that was trash. Why? Because it's a horror movie. And then unfortunately a lot of actors are very snobbish once they make it big, and they don't like talking about their lesser films from back in the day, which I think is incredibly rude. Even if you are like, I didn't really want to do that, wasn't into it, whatever. But to like, for them to be in that position of power and then just crap on the people who hired them and who they wouldn't have a career without, I think is so rude and very telling of the kind of people they are. Not all of them do that though, thankfully.
Yeah, and a lot of the times these movies are like cult classics and actually are very respected in different communities. So that's another reason why I'm like, what the heck? C'est la vie.
And you also won't hear it as much nowadays since horror is becoming more respected.
Yes, but a specific kind of horror.
Yeah, it still has to be like of a certain
Yeah.
budget and quality, but I still think like,
I think there's horror elitism going on right now.
yeah,
Where people are like, oh, you like that type of horror movie? Oh, and then you hear people are like, oh, I love horror movies, and then you see their top 3 and you're like, oh, you're that kind of
yeah. Oh, it's all A24 and that's all I consider horror.
Yeah.
Okay. But I think with having things like The Substance be nominated for so many awards, and it's a body horror film that's a throwback to like the old 80s style of what used to be seen as just trashy films, I think that is very telling that we're hopefully progressing and giving these movies the respect they deserve.
Yep.
Which is why, less and less I think people are going to have bad things to say about their early movies. They probably just won't talk about it at all.
Yeah.
Okay, so the first one I'm going to mention is probably one that not too many people know, but it is Tom Hanks in his, I don't know if it was his very first, but it was definitely one of his first movies. A slasher movie called He Knows You're Alone that came out in 1980. This movie, it's such a Halloween knockoff, like shamelessly, but it's one of those movies that's like, I don't know, cozy. Because the characters are all like super likable, and you're kind of just watching them chill out. It's about a woman who's getting ready to be married, so the whole thing is all about like weddings and brides, which
Emily's favorite.
I love it. And it's super low budget, but it has that just, that perfect feel. It's so underrated. I love that movie. But Tom Hanks makes an appearance as the love interest of one of the main character's friends, who she runs into him while jogging. This is one of those movies where like the horror is kind of just pops up every now and then. Most of the time you're kind of just watching like this dramedy of these people who are super fun to watch, and then like someone gets beheaded. You're like, ugh, what? But yeah, it's a really funny scene. She like runs into him while jogging, and it's Tom Hanks, so he's super charismatic and charming. And actually, he was so likable in the role that his character was supposed to be killed off at some point, which you can kind of tell because it's a weird plot line in the movie. Like, why are we focusing on this random little flirtation? And then ultimately, like, he's just there, nothing ever happens to him. Like, wouldn't that be a character who gets killed? They decided not to kill him off because he was so likable, which is hilarious. And actually, I'm okay with that because he was definitely like the best character in the movie. He was hilarious. And Tom Hanks, it was like a few years after this came out. I feel like it was still the 80s, maybe the 90s, I don't know. But he did talk about this movie, actually. And he had, like, as far as I could tell, he, like, was having fun talking about it. He's like, oh my gosh, it's this crazy movie, and there's a guy who, like, pops up and stabs you, and it's so much fun. I'm like, oh, that's really nice, because obviously at that point he was big superstar, but he just had, like, nothing but nice things to say, that I heard at least, when he talked about this movie, and he was just talking about, like, how fun it was, basically, which I imagine it would be if you're in a slasher movie. Like, that sounds like so much fun.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really cool that he did that. I don't know if he's talked about it recently or if anyone bothers to ask him about it. I would probably do nothing but ask about this movie if I ever talked to Tom Hanks.
Yeah, it would be on the top three must-ask questions.
Yeah, I feel like, you're the guy from He Knows You're Alone. Oh my god!
That's not Woody. That's not Forrest.
It's the jogger guy! Yeah, so that's one of my favorites, personally. And next, we're going to talk about a classic that everyone knows, of course. Johnny Depp in Nightmare on Elm Street, and on your shirt.
Yes, I have an Edward Scissorhands shirt on right now.
Johnny Depp was a part of the main cast of Nightmare on Elm Street. His first movie, he actually moved to LA to be a musician, like to be in a band or something. And that was his main career focus. And basically he was trying to take acting gigs as
For
a
money.
day job. Yeah. He
hilarious.
had no intention to go into acting. He's like, I'll just do this on the side a little bit. And then it was actually Nicolas Cage who recommended he audition for this movie.
Absolutely crazy lore.
That's insane. But he like knew Wes Craven somehow, and he's like, oh, I think my friend Johnny.
Cage.
Oh, Nicolas Cage. His connections must be.
Isn't he a Coppola technically?
Yes.
That family.
Yeah. So that's a really fun story. Yeah. So he plays Glenn, everyone's favorite horror movie boyfriend.
I do love Glenn as a character.
Yeah. A really, really good character. He was kind of the typical boyfriend of the main character. He actually kind of, if you think about it, probably set the precedent for what the slasher boyfriend would become.
That's true. I can't really think of anyone before that movie.
Definitely not mainstream. So, you know, he's the guy, he kind of doesn't really believe what's going on, but he's there to support when he can. Even though he kind of messes it up a lot.
Yeah.
But obviously,
he tries.
Yes, he tries his best.
And every time his death scene comes, I'm like, dang.
Yeah,
I was rooting for you.
Yeah.
And his death scene is one of the most iconic scenes in the entire movie. The blood fountain coming out of the bed.
It's probably the most, I mean, when people think Nightmare on Elm Street, you think about Johnny Depp getting sucked into the bed and then the blood
It's kind of also crazy because you don't see him die. Like with, what is her name? Is her name Christine? Or Tina. Tina. When during her death scene, you see it happen in the dream and outside of the dream, with all the blood and stuff. But with him, you kind of just see him get sucked in, and then he's definitely dead because of all the blood.
Yeah, I don't think.
But a part of me is like, maybe not, because we didn't see his body.
If it were nowadays, I'd be like, no way, he's still alive.
But wasn't there a longer cut where you do see his body?
Yes, there was. Originally, the scene went on where when the mom goes into the room and is like freaking out, she sees all the blood, it stops, and then his body floats out and like comes forward and drops. And I used to like that better because it was just such an insane image.
Yeah.
But now I do kind of like that you don't know.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a cool scene because you're like, oh my god, what is happening?
Yeah.
Why is this fountain coming from?
You're like, was he like, is that his blood or was he just like drowned in the blood?
That's why it's something that it's one of the deaths that you definitely think about more so than the others, because you're like, because you go back to it and you're like, but what really was going on there?
Yeah. And such, I mean, a crazy scene that looks so good and was done all practically, by the way.
What I think is really funny is, and I remember knowing there was an explanation for this, but at the very end of the scene, all of the blood starts to like tilt as if the gravity or the room were tilting. And I think it makes it freakier because you're like, what?
Yeah.
Gravity's changing. But
just adds to that like trippy dream.
I've always felt like that must have been like a faux pas or something.
That was an accident. So they used a rotating room for that
him
scene.
and
Tina. It's the same room redecorated.
Okay.
And so they had flipped it to
for
do the scene. They poured the blood, but the blood was so heavy that it started tilting the room over.
Wow, that's crazy.
So a mistake that ended up being cool.
I love that they didn't cut that, or like, I guess they probably wouldn't have been able to redo it.
Yeah.
But that's another thing that I always think about. I'm like, whoa, that weird scene where like the sheet is going, and
it starts going,
of blood.
Woo.
It's crazy.
And it almost feels like if you're standing there watching, you'd kind of be like, be such in shock
almost like
that
you're watching it through the mom's eyes and she's starting to faint.
Yeah, so one of the most epic scenes ever. And of course the music on top of it is just perfection.
And just the heartbreak. Because I do root for him and Nancy. I feel like they could have come out of this on top, but stupid Glenn fell asleep.
And nobody would let Nancy out of the house to go wake him up, which is worse.
Parents, yeah.
Yeah,
both of their parents let them down big time. But also, I have to say, never ever watch TV on your bed. You will fall asleep.
Don't put a whole TV on your crotch, too.
That was crazy.
That could have led to a different kind of disaster.
That was actually crazy. But you know what? I do that with my laptop all the time. So sometimes I'm like,
But they had to do something in the 80s.
Yeah.
But everything about that scene is just iconic perfection. And I think I haven't heard Johnny Depp talk about this movie. I think once I saw a clip of him like talking about how he got sucked into the bed and everything, but I haven't. I mean, surely he's talked about it at some point. But I haven't heard if he like has a good memory of it or anything.
I mean, I think so, because he went on to be like the face of Tim Burton movies. So
he did do more horror.
Yeah.
But definitely a different kind of horror.
Yeah.
Next on my list is another almost equally famous one, Kevin Bacon in the original 1980 Friday the 13th, who also arguably has the most iconic death in that movie.
Yeah, and that's another one where like the effects are very charming.
Yes. It's so funny because I think, as far as I can tell from people talking about it back in the day when this came out, that death scene in particular was the one where everyone was like, that looked so real. Did they put an arrow through that guy's neck?
That's hilarious.
People were freaking out about it even before anyone knew who Kevin Bacon was.
They did a lot of neck stuff in the Friday the 13th movies.
Yeah, I guess that was the easiest when you put you just put a stiff thing there and.
But yeah, watching it now, it's like a completely different skin color than his face, and you can totally see it. But it's so fun,
and it still looks really cool. Like, even though you can see it's fake, you just imagine that thing slowly
the way that it comes through is really cool.
And it like pops.
Yeah. And then the blood kind of like pools.
And that's another thing that went wrong. They had the tubing up there for the blood and they were pumping it through. And if you see like the shot where it's above his face and it's coming out, you see it kind of like flick up more and go into his face. That wasn't supposed to happen.
Well, listen, the human body does unexpected things. So it's accurate.
Yep.
But this is definitely who I think of when the topic of like people who became famous after horror movies comes up, because I feel like especially Friday the 13th feels more low budget than Nightmare on Elm Street.
Mm-hmm.
So it definitely feels like humble beginnings for Mr.
Yes.
Kevin Bacon.
Very humble. It was definitely, I mean, it was right after, I mean, Halloween came out, and people, for those couple of years in between, people were just trying to copy that, like, beat for beat.
Yeah.
Like, He Knows You're Alone. And then Friday the 13th came out and just went crazy. And then everyone was like, okay, let's go crazy.
Yeah.
So it really set the precedent just for the rest of the decade almost for slashers. And Kevin Bacon in the movie plays, I think his name is Jack. He's just a random, like, part of the body count, basically. But he is the guy who is part of the couple that has sex and gets killed right after because you can't have sex.
Continuing and also starting a very important trend.
Solidifying, we'll say. So that's also fun, you know. He was the guy who had sex and then died because he smoked weed right after too, and that's another
gosh,
no-no.
2 sins. And he was roaming around camp in a Speedo.
Yeah. Oh God. Another famous image that everyone points to as far as Kevin Bacon in this movie, the scene where you see some stuff in his
You see an outline.
Yes. Very interesting. But I always thought, I mean, I love all the characters in the first movie, but I always thought he was pretty funny in it.
Yeah.
And just a word on Kevin Bacon in general. He talks about this movie a lot, and, like, with so much respect. And he talks about just how amazing, like, the special effects at the time. I mean, at least recently he has. Maybe
he had a phase.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't watched every interview. But Kevin Bacon is always someone who talks about horror as, like, a legitimate genre. And he's continued to star in horror movies all the time. Some not
Actually,
good ones.
All of the other ones I think that I've seen him in, I did not like.
Yeah, he's been in some dumpers, you could say, but he was, I mean, Stir of Echoes is a great one.
I feel like I've seen one horror movie that I liked him in other than Friday the 13th, but I can't think of it.
Flatliners.
Flatliners. That's pretty good.
Tremors.
Oh.
Love Tremors.
I haven't seen that one.
So yeah, he always comes back to horror, and he's not afraid to do, like, what people would consider the silly, goofy stuff. But he always talks about how people don't realize that level of acting that has to go into horror. You have to pretend that you're scared for your life over and over and over again. Not a lot of people can do that. And people will always, you know, when you talk about, like, oh, what's the worst acting, people always go to horror movies, like, that usually is, like, the B-level acting. I'm like, no, I mean, when people are sitting there, like, screaming for their life and they have to run and hide, like, they think they're going to be killed, like, that, the level of energy for that is insane. And yeah, there's some bad acting, but I don't think it's as much as people say. And I think
it's as much as any other type of acting.
Yeah, exactly. I very much enjoy that he says that. It made me have, like, my level of respect for him just shot up, skyrocketed.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on, we have another Nightmare on Elm Street movie, Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors.
Oh, yeah.
Patricia Arquette.
My gosh.
Patricia Arquette as the main character, Kristen, who I always thought was one of the most likable protagonists in the series. She's, you know, she has a rough home life, and nobody believes her when she's freaking out about this dream man trying to kill her. So I think for, like, teens especially, that's why that's a fan favorite, is that I think young people relate to it a lot, because it's about people just not believing teens and be like, you need to be put in a psych ward.
Yeah. Patricia Arquette, she's now doing, what is it called? Severance. And I feel like she's good at being creepy. Like, she still does that in a lot of roles. Also, the one about Gypsy Rose Blanchard.
Oh, yeah.
Like, now she's doing a lot of that, which I love. But yeah, I love this movie. I think the idea of a bunch of kids having superpowers to fight against Freddy is so fun.
I love it so much.
It's like a messed up X-Men.
Yeah.
I love it so much. It's goofy, sure, but I really have a fun time.
It's what we all want to see. It's like Friday the 13th, The New Blood, where you have Tina with her telekinetic powers to fight Jason. Like, we want to see a worthy adversary to the villain.
And it's always a girl in pink.
Yes.
Just let that sink in.
Yes, femininity is what saves the day every time. Another interesting thing about Dream Warriors, of course, is Lawrence Fishburne in a bit part. Yes. I don't know if that was his very first either, but definitely
an early role.
Early role. He plays just like a random orderly. But he's like the one who's a bit nicer to the kids, which is nice. I think that was back when he was Larry Fishburne, too. Oh. It says in the credits.
And now Mr. Fishburne has done Hannibal, so he's still around in the horror sphere.
I remember a horrifying image of him in Passengers when his arms were...
Oh my god. That was a horror movie. That was a horror movie if you saw it in theaters. No, that is just like a psychological horror movie because the whole... I don't want to think about that movie.
Oh boy. Yeah, that's a weird one. But I think it's funny that he was Larry Fishburne back in the day, but then, like, when he became legit, he's Lawrence Fishburne.
I love seeing that. Where, like, if you have a favorite actor and you go back and watch their old stuff and their name is completely different in the credits, it always makes me giggle.
Yeah. Okay, and next on my list, another classic that everyone will know, John Travolta and Carrie.
What a role.
What a role. This was not his first thing. I think he was on the show Welcome Back, Kotter.
Oh.
I think he was on that either at the time or before.
But in terms of feature films.
Yes, I think this was his first movie. Feature film. At least it said in the old trailer from back in the day.
Introducing
John Travolta. Yeah, I mean, he's just goofy. His goofy John Travolta self.
Yeah, it's literally like, it's the same thing he does in Grease.
Yeah. He's a bit little more unhinged.
Yeah, but evil, but...
Yes. It's very much in a way that's entertaining and funny to watch. And always, like, when I watch the remake, I love the remake of Carrie a lot, but when we get to the character of Billy, he's kind of just, like, generic jerk boyfriend.
There's something special about him being kind of, like, a goober as well as evil.
Yeah. I always felt that was missing
and
in
I
the
feel
remake.
like that's kind of in the book, too. He is more evil in the book, but there is, like, he's a teenager, so there's an element of, like, you're an idiot, but you also, like, do suck on many levels. I think he captured that pretty well.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of the rough blueprint of many characters he would play.
Yeah.
You know, like Tony in Saturday Night Fever. Just kind of... just the worst jerk who you'd never want to be with in real life, but you definitely want to sit down and watch
a movie about them. Yeah, they're entertaining.
Yeah, and also it's iconic that he's the one who kills the pig that they dump the blood on Carrie at the prom. Just a staple of cinema. If you ask me, Carrie's one of my favorite movies of all time.
I'm so excited to watch it this spooky season.
Yes.
And there's going to be a new series.
Yes, that I'm very cautiously excited for.
Me too.
I'm hoping that the character of Billy is done more in this sense.
Yeah, I don't know if they've released, like, a full cast yet.
I don't
They released who's playing Carrie.
And Sue, I think.
Oh, okay. And I know that the Delaney Hales is going to be in it from Interview with the Vampire, but I don't know if she's playing a big role or she's just in it.
She should.
I know.
She should be Chris.
For a second, I thought she was going to play Carrie, and I got really excited, but...
No, she should be Chris.
That would be fun.
Next, we have Jennifer Aniston in Leprechaun.
I really want to see Leprechaun. I've never seen it. But when I was in my friend's phase, I was like, I gotta see this movie, and I never did.
Leprechaun is an insane franchise. I don't know how they got so many movies to the point where there's 2 movies where he's in the hood.
What do you mean in the hood?
Leprechaun in the Hood, and then Leprechaun Back to the Hood.
That's what they're called?
Yes.
Oh my god.
How did they get 2 of those? Anyway.
Oh my god.
The first Leprechaun, a bit more straightforward, I guess.
As straightforward as leprechauns can be.
This was the 90s when slasher movies were, like, kind of just doing whatever until Scream came along. And you have some good ones. Like, I like Dr. Giggles. I think that's a good one.
Dr. Giggles.
But Leprechaun, I don't know. I've never vibed with it as much as, like, Child's Play. You know, when it comes to the more comedic, kind of silly stuff. I love Warwick Davis as the Leprechaun. He's hilarious and iconic. But we have Jennifer Aniston in the leading role, the final girl. And she just looks like in this movie that she's like, you know what? I'm doing this for the paycheck. And I'm going to get paid and it's going to be great. But it's hilarious to think that she went on to like such...
Yeah, pretty soon after as well.
Yeah. I mean, this was... When did this come out? 92? 93.
Wow, the year before. That's crazy.
Oh my god. But yeah, Warwick Davis, does that count as well? I think he was... I mean, he was in Star Wars
yeah, I feel
already.
like Star Wars is his thing. And did he do Willow yet? I don't know if Willow was very big, though.
Willow was in the 80s, no?
I think so.
Leprechaun. What can you say? Jennifer Aniston. She's really pretty in the movie.
Great gowns, beautiful gowns.
Yeah, she's got great fits, like 90s fits. Yeah, I swear she's talked about it before.
Oh, I'm sure she has.
With, like, what you could expect. She's just like,
yeah.
I don't know. But that one I always forget about, and then when I remember it, I'm like, wow.
I know.
Wow, that, like, that franchise continued for so long. And actually got a legacy sequel recently. And then...
It did?
It did.
I wasn't privy to that.
I haven't seen it. I should see it, because I watched all the other freaking weird ones. I didn't sit through all that for nothing. And yeah.
Leprechaun in the Hood.
You haven't seen, like, the scene where he raps?
No! I don't really know anything about Leprechaun.
Okay.
I might have seen the trailer for the first one when I was considering watching it. And that was probably why I didn't.
And you were like,
That's probably why I didn't.
Yeah,
I think I saw all I needed to see.
Well, it's weird because after watching the whole franchise, I look back at that one, I'm like, it wasn't that bad.
Well, I'd like to watch that one this spooky season. I feel like it's been long enough.
The time has come.
I need to cross it off the bucket list.
I mean, I think the thing that killed it for me, no pun intended, was that the kills weren't really that gory. And it is an R-rated film, so I'm like...
Yeah, if you're gonna already do, like, goofy leprechaun antics, why not take it to that level?
Yeah.
To, like, make it worth it.
I mean, look at Dr. Giggles. That, like, those deaths are like, whoa, okay. But anywho.
I digress.
Moving on. Oh, we have one of my favorites, George Clooney. George Clooney with his 80s mullet.
Is this the tomatoes?
So, yes, this is 2 movies here, actually. One is Return to Horror High, where he played, what was he, like a security guard or something with his 80s mullet going on? I don't know. That movie, I don't really like that movie. But then soon after, he was in Return of the Killer Tomatoes, which I do love that. George, he's a main character in it, and the comedic timing from everyone in that movie, but him especially, it makes it so worth it. I mean, Attack of the Killer Tomatoes is hilarious and a gem. And then you think a sequel, like, yeah, okay, whatever. It's about, like, a furry mutated tomato or something on the loose. And it's just, like, a complete, almost more a parody than even the first one was. But the scene I always remember is when the movie just stops all of a sudden. And it turns into, like, a meta thing. And they're like, well, we can't continue the movie. We have no budget. And they're like, oh, no. What do? We have to finish the story. It's like, well, we can do it if we do more brand deals. And so they're like, okay. And then the movie gets back to it. And so George Clooney and his friend are, like, talking, I think, at a restaurant. And people keep popping in, like... holding the cereal boxes or, like, all this stuff.
That's hilarious.
They'll pause and be like, let me take another drink of this. It's so funny. I love that movie so much, and he's hilarious in it. That's another one where if I ever met George Clooney, I'd be like, you're the guy from Return of the Killer Tomatoes.
This is better than when he played Batman.
Oh, gee. I'd watch Return of the Killer Tomatoes. I'd nominate that for every Oscar before I would give Batman and Robin a single award, except for Uma Thurman.
I was gonna say, but Uma Thurman.
Uma Thurman, yes. The next one we have is a doubler.
Oh.
Is Matthew McConaughey and Renee Zellweger in
I
Texas
Renee
Chainsaw
Zellweger.
Massacre: The Next Generation.
I don't think I'll sit through this one. I've never seen it, but I've heard Emily speak of it enough that I don't need... This is not on my list.
This remains the worst film in that entire franchise. And I'm including the Legacy sequel. I would watch the Legacy sequel over this 10 times. This movie...
The Legacy sequel was honestly not bad. It was just a nothing burger, kind of, for me.
It had good gore, I remember.
I loved the self-driving car. That scene was hilarious. Anyway.
Yes. This movie, though, I still, when I think about it, get just shivers as I recall however many years ago it was sitting there on my little iPad that I used to watch movies on. It felt like it took all freaking day for this movie to finally end. This movie goes on and on.
That's the worst.
And it did. I mean, Matthew McConaughey, I've never been a huge fan of. I'm sorry. At least acting-wise. I don't know about him as a person. But I've always been like, I don't really get what the hype is, but whatever. And this just made me even more irritated because maybe it's not fair to say the performance is not good because the writing is trash. The character's garbage. He plays some guy with a mechanical leg in the Sawyer family. Again, we keep, in all the sequels, we get all these family members that we never heard about before. Oh, there's more. What the heck? I thought it was just Grandpa.
They're a dynasty.
Yeah. But his character's so aggravating. And just with this insane accent. I'm like, oh my god.
Cartoony.
Yes, and not in the fun way, at least to me. Some people are like, it's so bad it's good. To me, it was so bad, I just wanted to leave.
It was so bad, it was bad.
I mean, if the movie was trying to make me feel just as held hostage as Renee Zellweger was, then mission accomplished, I guess. But when it culminates, this movie that feels like it's 2 hours, culminates in Renee Zellweger grabbing the remote on the ground and like pressing it repeatedly to make Matthew McConaughey's leg jerk.
He did a little jig.
And all the family members, oh, let's try to help him. And he's like, oh.
Oh, brother.
That's the big
That's the finale.
Renee Zellweger, I mean, she was fine, I guess. Not really memorable. But she wasn't annoying. She had 2 really pretty dresses.
Again, great gowns, beautiful gowns.
She plays like the classic final girl. She starts off all shy and kind of nerdy, and then as the friends leave the prom or whatever and go off to the woods and meet the unfortunate fate of running into Matthew McConaughey. That's the thing. Leatherface, this is like, he sits down, he wears drag, and that's all he does for the movie. It's Matthew McConaughey as the main villain. I'm like,
What are we here for?
You think when I see Texas Chainsaw, I'm here for Matthew McConaughey and a robot leg?
It sounds like Halloween Ends.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, not as offensive. Just definitely as boring.
Yeah.
More boring, I'd say.
And confounding.
Yes. I had to include this because it's just so bizarre that, first of all, that these 2 actors had a career after this.
You're actually angry then.
I mean, no, I have nothing against them, but just, I am amazed.
They made it.
This movie, of all the movies, of all the Texas Chainsaw movies, there are some, I think, famous people and the other ones scattered throughout too, but this is like the one that everyone talks about. the most famous people made it out of this franchise.
Was Alexandra Daddario, was that one of her first roles?
I don't think so. I think she did Percy Jackson first.
Oh, that's right.
I don't mind that Texas Chainsaw 3D. I'll be
No.
honest.
Honestly, that might be my favorite thing I've seen her in.
Everyone hates that movie with a burning passion. I always thought it was fine. I never had a problem.
Yeah, it was entertaining.
Yeah. Do your thing, cuz. I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
Whatever. This movie, though, I will...
On my hit list.
Burn.
In my burn book.
Actually...
She's a fugly skank.
Yes, I would absolutely write that about this movie. I'd make a whole burn book about this movie. I can't believe of all the movies, this is the one where two people just shot to fame.
Yeah. That's hilarious.
Also, what's hilarious is both, I think it was very soon after this that, like, even before it came out, maybe, that both of them got bigger roles and were well recognized. So they're agents. And this, I will say, did kind of give me the ick. The agents, I don't know if it was probably just their agent's idea. I'm sure
I would
they
think
didn't
that they
have
wouldn't
anything.
have a lot of control.
Yeah. The agents called the producers or whoever and were like, I can't remember if they said don't release the movie. That couldn't have been. Or they said take their names off of it. Which I thought, like, listen, I know the movie's crap, I'm the first to admit, but that's so, like, come on.
They got famous because they were in this movie?
I don't know if it was because, but it was soon after they got roles in bigger stuff. And then once they were famous, they called back and be like, oh yeah, that trash movie, don't say that they're in that now.
I wonder if it did have to do with them. I don't know.
I don't know. If it did, I think that's really crappy. Regardless of how horrible the movie is, people still worked on it, and they worked hard on it, and they deserve to have it be as successful as it can be. So, what I find brilliant and amazing is when they released, I think it was probably like the VHS cover at the time, they made sure to put both of their faces huge on the cover and their names right there, which I love.
I like it.
I mean, it's catty, but I love it. Because that's, like, don't do that, you know?
No, I think that's messed up.
I mean, if you have confidence that you're going to succeed, then why would you go back and be like, you can't put my
if you're
name.
so big in your britches.
Yeah, I always, that gave me the ick a lot. I hope that wasn't them who thought that, but it might have been.
I don't know, because I can see them being very much behind the decision, even if it wasn't their idea.
Yeah. They probably weren't just like, I'm going to do this. Probably like, are you okay if I call this weird Texas Chainsaw?
And they were like, yes, please, probably.
Yeah. And, like, I get it in a way because the movie is horrendous.
And if you are so new, they're, like, just starting out, and then they're like, I'm going to have this I'm going to have this absolute bomb drop. I can kind of understand it, but in the grand scheme of things, it is messed up, because, like you said, a bunch of people worked on it.
Yeah, and it's just so snobby.
And it's also false. Like, if you remove their names, it's false.
Yeah, I don't know what... I can't remember exactly what they said to do. I swear it was you can't... Or, like, you
Maybe
can't
they can't use them in
that
promotion.
They're in it.
Yeah. But then...
Which is also... I don't know. I don't like
I don't know
what
what the legality around that is, but I feel like they would probably have already signed contracts about that.
Obviously they did, because they didn't get in trouble for that poster. So
I think that it's kind of like you remember that customer I had where she was like, but you can do it for me.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like.
That's what it's giving. I don't like it at all. And look, they're fine. They're both fine.
Yeah.
Everyone knows that they're in this and that is awful. And they're fine.
This often happens with actors where I feel like that's a common occurrence. They're in a bomb movie. They're in one that suddenly makes them famous, but they've still got this bomb that's going to come out. That happens all the time, and usually it's fine.
And you have to suck it up because it's not all about you.
Yeah.
Sorry. So yeah, that's obviously not like my favorite example, but I do think it's hilarious, so I had to bring it up. Anyway, moving on to lighter topics, I'm going to talk about one that no one really talks about anymore, but Leah Thompson in Jaws 3D. Does anyone remember?
Did anyone like Jaws 3D?
Listen, Jaws 3D is really bad, but it's really fun too. How they got permission from SeaWorld to do all that, I will never know. But they did somehow. Maybe because SeaWorld saw the movie and they're like, just go ahead.
Yeah, no one will care.
But yeah, Leah Thompson is in this movie. This is her very first role. I watched the Cinema Snob review of this movie recently where he said that they found her in like an old Burger King commercial that she did, and they're like, we want to cast her. But yeah, she's really cute in this movie. She plays like what is it called? Water skier. I'm sure she didn't actually do like the stunts and everything, but those sequences I always thought were really cool, where they have all the girls in like the cute dresses and they're balancing on top of the people and skiing around the thing with the dolphins. It's a fun movie, as bad as it is. You also have Dennis Quaid in that movie as like the director of SeaWorld or something.
That sounds actually iconic.
It's a pretty iconic movie.
Dennis Quaid is good at playing menacing overseers of like dumb capitalistic things.
But yeah, I remember when I first watched it. It was like right after I got my my wisdom teeth out. I remember I watched all the Jaws.
Oh, movies. I remember you. Yeah, I remember this.
It was that summer,
and she threw up too.
Oh yeah, it was that summer where I watched like all the Exorcist movies too, or something.
Great franchises.
Yeah, not my best moment, but it had to be done at some point, so I did it. And I just remember like really liking her in the movie. She was just a really fun character. She's like all preppy and like, ooh, let's her boyfriend's like always trying to be alone with her and have, smexy times, and she's like kind of clueless to it in a way. She's like, are you ready for a good time now? And he's like, yeah. And she's like, great, let's go ride the bumper boats. But what makes this really funny is the joke in Back to the Future 2 where they have, I think it's Jaws 19.
That's right.
And I think that might have been because she was in Jaws 3D.
Cute.
But yeah, that's a fun one that I think people forget about a lot, because a lot of people forget that Jaws has sequels.
I know. I don't think about them often.
No.
I tried watching the second one and I couldn't get through more than a couple scenes. It was so boring.
Yeah. I will say, like, of all of them, the third one is the least boring. It's at least like, wow, this is something.
It's more of like not trashy, more like a pop. What do you call that? A popcorn?
Yeah, a popcorn movie. It's 3D, so the 3D effects. Wow.
What was that phase of cinema? What
they were trying to do a comeback, because I think the same year was Friday the 13th Part 3.
Yeah.
And Amityville 3D.
A lot. Yeah, they did that with a lot of franchises, and I'm glad we put an end to that.
Yeah, 3D just isn't working, guys.
No.
I think we need to stop. Ooh, this was one that I forgot about until recently. But I did watch WandaVision yesterday, so I was thinking about it. But Elizabeth Olsen, before, it was either like the same year or right after her first sort of big movie, which was that cult one, Marcy May Marlene. Is that what it's called?
Never heard of that.
Anyway, one of her very first movies was she had a leading role in this movie called Silent House. So this movie's really interesting because it's a horror movie, but it's also like this psychological drama kind of thing. And the movie is shot in a way where it looks like it's all one take, which I love. So it's kind of like real time. But she's the main character, and she's this woman who's going back to this old house that her dad and her uncle, I believe, are renovating. And she's like going to stay there for a bit and help them. And there's just weird things start happening, and then there's an intruder in the house. But then as the movie goes on, it starts to reveal some stuff and like repressed memories about her childhood and everything. It's a really interesting movie, and I think it was only like her second film ever. And it's a lot, like ends up happening with the conclusion and everything. Like, it's not just your typical slasher movie where you're screaming and running around and become the final girl and save the day. It's a bit more of a psychological dig. She's really good in this, and
She's
really good. And definitely for it being like one of her first movies, and it being like this. I remember when I was younger seeing the cover for this movie everywhere. It's like the close-up of her just screaming, and then Silent House underneath. And I remember I was little, I'm like, oh my god, a scary movie, I'm never watching that. And then of course finding it when I was older and being like, oh, is that Wanda? But yeah, this is another one that isn't really talked about that much anymore, so I thought I'd bring it up because I think technically it was before. I mean, obviously she's an Olsen sibling, so everyone knew who she was, but it was before she was big. But yeah, Kristen Stewart was in some stuff.
Yeah. So, the first horror movie we ever watched,
The Messengers.
The Messengers, which is where we were introduced. Well, we weren't introduced to Kristen Stewart through this movie, but we knew of her because of Twilight. But she was the reason we watched the movie.
Yes.
It's a haunted house movie. I mean, we've talked about it before on the podcast.
Yeah.
I really like it. We still go back and watch it sometimes.
She was in a few when she was like a kid, I think. She was in one with Dennis Quaid called Cold Creek Manor or something, where it's a little more like mystery thriller, but definitely like, you know, about this big spooky house that the family moves into. And then yeah, Escape Room. Yeah, a little bit of horror. Yeah, The Messengers is really good. If you haven't seen it, you should. It's a really creepy ghost haunting movie.
Yeah, it was the first like haunted house movie I had ever seen, I think. At least like that was actually really scary.
Yeah. Some really spooky images. Like I still think about when the mom's looking at the mark on the wall.
Yes, I think about that all the time.
The lady pops out.
And I think Stranger Things took inspiration from that. Because I remember the first time I watched Stranger Things and there's the scene with Holly and she goes into, I think it's Will's room, and the Demogorgon comes out of the wall. I'm like, hey, that looks like Messengers. And it brought me back to my early days of horror, even though I was kind of still in my early days of horror back then. I think I was like 12 or 13 when I watched Stranger Things.
I saw this meme the other day of these two ladies on a roller coaster, and one's like smiling and holding the other one's hand, the other's like freaking out, and they're like me with my friends when I'm getting them to watch horror movies. And I'm like, I feel like that was us when I was first getting you into horror.
I really was like, I really wanted to watch horror movies, but I was like, I don't think I can do it, because I was always a scared child. So I was like, I'm gonna traumatize myself. And I was fine. I actually really loved all of the horror movies.
Yeah. You were really young, though, too.
When did we watch Messengers? How old was I?
Way too young.
Well, also, I was probably way too young for Twilight, even.
Yes. You were too young for everything, but you always got to watch it.
I know.
It was me first.
When people always say when you're in your 20s, your 20s is your time to rediscover stuff that you liked when you were younger and like realize that you had really good taste. Well, my experience has been I'm rediscovering things that I liked when I was younger, and I'm like, I watched this and I was okay.
Yeah, I mean, so if I was into Twilight, it had to have been, I was in 6th or 7th grade.
So I was in 3rd or 4th. I think 4th grade, that sounds right. Because 3rd grade I was reading Mockingjay, which is insane.
Wow.
I think my brain like didn't process most of it, which I'm glad for, because I feel like that would have traumatized me a little bit. But yeah, so horror movies as well. 4th grade, we did PG-13. I don't think we
watched
went to
like
R.
House at the End of the Street.
Yeah, it was all the stuff that had people that we knew.
Liked.
Kristen Stewart, Jennifer Lawrence.
And when I was younger, I wanted to watch Black Swan and Orphan.
Oh, yeah.
Because they had people I knew, but those were the rated R ones. I'm like, oh.
We watched the trailers for those.
Yes.
Didn't we watch the Conjuring trailer a lot?
Yeah.
I remember that.
That was the one that made me throw my Kindle on the ground, so I was so scared.
Yeah, so a lot of it was trailers. And then PG-13
my Kindle Fire
movies with actresses that we liked. So that was so yeah, The Messengers is very special. Will have a very special place in my heart. And like I said, it still holds up. We still watch it sometimes.
It's fun.
and it's got a creepy vibe because it's like that farmhouse out in the middle of nowhere, and also it's another one where no one believes the teenager.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think the dad from American Horror Story is in it.
yes,
He's the
yes,
dad? Yeah.
that's right.
And then that guy who was the dad in Ramona.
Oh my gosh, that a lot of people. Moving
what
on.
about Kirsten Dunst?
Well,
Interview with the Vampire.
Interview with the Vampire. Let me say, she's the best part of that movie. And that's really all I have to say. Her performance blows me away. It was the only, when I first watched it, I didn't love the movie, but her part in it, I was like, this is crazy. And I knew her from Jumanji. That was, I think, the first, well, Spider-Man
and
also.
Spider-Man, yeah.
Jumanji and Spider-Man. And I couldn't believe that it was the same actress, because I was like, I don't know. She just was really,
had
really
red
good.
hair.
She was my favorite. She's also my favorite Amy in Little Women. I want to say she was good, because she was good as a young actress, but she's still very good. So I don't mean that she's not good anymore. But anyway, yeah, I think she perfectly encapsulated the Claudia of the books and just the absolute frustration. Somehow, even though she was such a young actress, you felt that she was an older woman in a younger person's body, which is insane.
And not in a creepy way.
Yeah, which is insane for I don't know if she was 12 when the movie came out or when they were filming it, but she was around that age, like preteen. 10 to 12, somewhere in there, which is crazy. It reminds me of Millie Bobby Brown in Stranger Things, like this stuff that you're like, I couldn't have done that at that age.
Well, I'm telling you, horror is like, it's a different level of acting.
It
a lot
is
of the time.
that the absolute anguish that she's constantly in, and like the subject matter of that movie is very dark for someone that age as well. But I feel like she fully like got it, or maybe she didn't, and she just somehow embodied it. Yeah, she was great. She's the best part of that movie.
Yep.
And I will rewatch that movie solely for her.
And Antonio Banderas.
Oh, and Antonio. Yeah. You're so right.
The Armand that doesn't piss me off.
Well, he still pisses me off in that movie, but he's excellent.
Crazy. Definitely a very different Claudia than the TV show.
Mm-hmm. Actually, the director of that movie just did like a Q&A on the Interview with the Vampire Reddit, and he said the same thing, that like it was crazy what Kirsten Dunst could do, and he was like, I know, because a lot of times young actors, he was like, I wasn't afraid that she was not going to go anywhere. I was like, she's going places. And he also said one of the things that he doesn't like about the TV show is that they didn't make Claudia as young. And I can see that. I think that it's an interesting new way to look at it, but I think there is nothing better than the book where she's a 5-year-old. Like, that's the creepiest version of her. That's my favorite version of Claudia. Like, she's literally a baby in the book, and she grows into a 40-year-old woman, and she is 5 years old on the outside. That's such a cool idea, and you do like inevitably lose a little bit of that when you age her up to, even they aged her up in the movie, but aging her up into a teenager, like you lose that creepiness of it, but you get a bunch more of like, she's stuck in puberty now, so like she's constantly, like Lestat says, emotional highs and lows, mountains and valleys every day of her life. So I like both versions, but I can definitely see why people would be like, it's not quite as like horrifying.
Yeah, it definitely, when I watched the show, I didn't really feel that anguish at all really with her, because they do, I mean, I don't know how old the actresses were, but they definitely were not.
The season 1 actress, she was like 18, 19, but the season 2 actress was like 26.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. They're also dealing with a lot more than just the aging thing in the show.
Yeah.
So
the show, I feel, was more focused on showing how Louis and Lestat, it's a commentary on the toxic parents and how that affects the child.
Yeah.
More than the story of her being stuck.
Yeah.
As a
It's
little
not
girl.
as focused on that. Which, like, is a good thing, because if they had tried to do that, it wouldn't have worked at all.
Lost in the sauce.
Yeah. So, yeah. And I think they wanted to, obviously they wanted to explore different things than the book or the movie did. And so, you know, all power to them.
Yeah.
More power to them to do that.
Do something different instead of just a a retread.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Anyway, that was our brief analysis on Interview.
I would like to say, I definitely would feel quite anguished if I were stuck in my 14-year-old body. So, like, there still is a little bit of that
there's still
element
just
to it.
like, that kind of sucks. Except now everyone's involved.
Yeah. Yeah.
The last one that I wanted to talk about is kind of like a hodgepodge of people's. But, of course, we all know Jamie Lee Curtis in Halloween was her first big role.
Yes.
And she was in, like, Prom Night, Terror Train, like all these little horror movies right after, which is really fun. But she returned to Halloween in Halloween H2O, which is the superior legacy sequel, and I don't care what anyone says.
Yes.
But also in that movie you have Michelle Williams and Josh Hartnett. And LL Cool J.
What a cast. What a cast.
Fabulous.
And it's so fun.
Yeah.
The vibes are immaculate.
I feel like that was not this movie specifically. It was more Scream, I guess you could say, but this was the turning point of, like, it was cool to be in horror movies now. You know, because these were, like, the heartthrobs of the 90s. Josh Hartnett, everyone loves him. He's in The Faculty also. Another ensemble cast in that movie. Scream, obviously. Full of teen icons. So this is when it was, like, cool again.
That's true.
And I feel like that has translated a lot today as well, because you have, like, Chloe Grace Moretz. She was in tons of horror movies when she was younger, and she continues to go back and do some every now and then, but she's obviously more in, like, more mainstream stuff. It's not something that's like, ooh, that one bad horror movie I was in, don't look at that. It's like, no, she was Carrie. No one liked it. I did. Whatever. You have Jenna Ortega. She was in, what was it? Insidious, I think. Insidious Chapter 2. She had, like, a bit part.
Oh, wow. Well, she was a Disney kid.
Yes.
But I feel like she really blew up after Scream.
Yeah. I definitely think there's less shame with it now.
As long as you're attached to a big franchise, though.
That's
or,
true.
like, A24.
That is true. But it's something.
Like, Terrifier.
Oh, people...
Not the same thing.
Yeah. But you know what? Everyone who's involved with Terrifier, at least that I've seen, they aren't ashamed of it.
Yeah.
They're ready to shout it. And Art
That's
the Clown
the thing, is I think by now, like in the 80s, there wasn't so much this legacy cult following where these movies are revered, whereas nowadays people look at Terrifier and they're like, this is the new this. So it's not the same, but it definitely isn't going to go to the Oscars anytime soon.
I mean, I think it's better than a lot of the movies that end up at the Oscars, but whatever. I mean, I'd be surprised if Lauren Lavera doesn't go on to do a lot of stuff, because she's not only
we'll have to
a
see.
good actress, but she can do the stunts.
I can see her going into action.
Yeah. I could see her being an action star for sure. And we all know David Howard Thornton. Amazing. He
wants to play the Joker again. So someone put him in that movie.
Yes. I think that was
covers it.
Were you surprised by anyone? Did anyone not know?
Let us know. Yeah, let's talk about what we've been watching.
Yeah. The Long Walk.
We saw The Long Walk. Oh my god. I think that was a Twister's moment for me. Not in the sense that I was having fun. No. Don't be mistaken. But in the sense that this is a theater experience I will remember and will stand out for me when we do our end of the year count favorites. And I think it will be very high on the list. I think this was one of the most impactful theater experiences I've had this year. Yeah. I cried 5 times. I mean, it's directed by the same dude who directs the Hunger Games movies, all except for the first one. And so I was expecting to be gut punched, because the concept is a bunch of kids walk for money until...
Not a walkathon.
Until only one of them is left. So it's similar to the Hunger Games. It's a Stephen King adaptation. You could definitely feel that. You could feel that it was one of his stronger stories as well. Yes.
Character-wise.
Yeah.
Writing-wise.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's like it was very similar to The Body or Stand By Me, because it was about, I mean, the foundation of it is about the connection between these boys, these men. I think they were not supposed to be boys in the movie. In the book, they are.
Yeah, they're. I think they said they had to be above
18, which is not the case in the book. I think it's like the Hunger Games; they have to be around 16.
I think that was a very intentional change because we don't want to see young kids getting shot on screen right now.
And I think we see enough of that, and with the Hunger Games, like, I don't know, it switches it up a little, and it also is more evocative of like military enlisting, stuff like that. It was very much focused on these connections between the characters, in a less wholesome setting, of course, than Stand By Me, but still. So that writing definitely came through, and we both are planning to read the book. We have not, but I would really like to. I bought it like the day we saw the movie.
We walked out of the theater, went to the bookshop, and got the book.
Yes. So yeah, that'll be on our reading list for spooky season.
Yes.
But anyway, this movie was fantastic. All of the actors were fantastic. Half of them I was like, they're really familiar, and I had to look them up at the end, and they were people that I knew. So yeah, Emily, what are your thoughts?
I'd be shocked if any other movie this year knocks this off my top spot. Mm-hmm. It would be amazing if anything.
Only
did.
if Twisters comes out again.
Who knows? Maybe that Frankenstein movie is gonna be like insane. But I don't see anything pushing this out of my number one for the year.
I feel like, not to spoil it or anything, I think it's number one.
This was like, I've only just now begun to go through entire days without thinking about this movie at least a couple times. Yeah. Like, and it's such whiplash because it's horrifying and just bleak and brutal and a bit hopeless. And at the same time, there's parts that literally make you keel over laughing.
Yeah, it's crazy. And when I heard the concept, I was like, so this better be like really well written, or it's gonna be boring and fall completely flat. Because at least with the Hunger Games, as much as like this is the whole point of stuff like of the Hunger Games, there's spectacle to it.
Yes.
So it's entertaining.
There's pretty dresses.
Yeah. And there's multiple sets. This is literally just a highway. I think it's supposed to be the long highway, and the longest highway, I think it's called, where like to this day it's kind of creepy because you have to drive for miles and miles before you see any gas station or any sign of civilization. I think they're supposed to be on that stretch of road, but yeah, so in my mind I'm like, ooh, this better be good or it's gonna flop, and it was good.
I was not even expecting this to be as good as it was.
I don't know why I went into it with low expectations.
Well, Stephen King is very hit or miss.
Yeah, but now that I think back, when there is a concept, when Stephen King has a concept that is very simple to the point where you're like, how could you even write a full story about it? It's usually his best.
That's
books.
A good point. That's a good point.
So I should have known, but I didn't, and I'm glad because my socks were quite frankly knocked off.
You were trying to disappear into your seat.
I was having a rough time.
And it's a very difficult movie for literally this very moment in time.
Oh, yes. I think with the Hunger Games, I feel the same way, where, like, when you're watching it, you feel the fear on a personal level, because you're like, I can see how the parallels to my own world. But I don't know, this movie, I guess because it was rated R, and it was a little more, like, in your face about the violence, I was like, oh, I'm scared. Like, in a real way, not just I'm in a movie theater way.
Yeah, it's definitely the kind of violence where I'm glad that they didn't hold back, because if they did, it would have been a completely different tone, and it wouldn't have worked as well. But at the same time, it's not like it's glorifying.
No.
Or meant to be, like, fun gore moments, you know. Agreed. I think it, like, the stuff they did was impressive, but
but it's supposed to show you, like,
it's very much meant to be disturbing and not it's not Terrifier. You know? You're not meant to be like cheering and laughing like, oh my god, that's so crazy. You're meant to be like,
which is
that was very good makeup, but Wow.
Yeah. Another thing that I was talking about with Emily was, in this day and age, it is funny to me how we are going back to gore in horror movies in a fun way. Because I'm not saying that I'm like against it, but I think it's funny that a lot of people are into that right now because of what's going on in the world. You'd think that it would be the opposite and we'd start to get more like puritanical about it, which I guess a large section of us are. So maybe I'm just in too deep in the horror universe.
You're in the right area.
Yeah, I guess so.
I honestly think it's because, at least for me, what I can say about it is that a lot of the times with horror movies, at least the ones that I watch, they are more Terrifier, where it's meant to be just silly over the top. And in that way, it's kind of therapeutic.
Yeah.
Where it's like you're watching something that in real life would be horrendous.
And I
but
guess
the way it's portrayed, it's just like, I'm just having a fun time watching some insane makeup.
And we're already so desensitized to it. That it is kind of like historically lines up because, I mean, Saw became popular. Like, that was during, like, Afghanistan war stuff.
That was, and that's not only Saw, but just torture porn in general, as they call it. Like, Hostel. Mm-hmm. With the fear of a foreign country and everything.
So yeah, it does make sense, but it is just funny to me how humans work.
It's an interesting thing to think about for sure. But yeah, if you haven't seen The Long Walk,
please run. Please don't walk. Run to the theater.
But yes, be aware that it's not going to be a fun, happy, feel-good time.
It took us a while to recover. We had to come home, and that was the night I baked cookies. Was that the night I baked cookies?
Yeah.
Yeah. I baked us cookies, and we watched Sleeping Beauty. And that helped. So plan something like that for after you see it, if you're going to see it.
Went a little catatonic for a moment.
Yeah. Well, I was the most silent I have ever been when I baked those cookies. Usually, baking gives me so much energy, but I was like, I can't do this. And then I was like, I gotta push through because I'm gonna be able to eat these, and then I'm gonna feel better. And I did.
Yeah, so it definitely takes a mental toll, but I think, like, it wasn't that I felt, like, gross or bad. It was just I had so much to think about. And I was like, I kind of just need to sit with this. I even, like, I was so excited to watch reviews and everything from all the YouTubers I watch. But I remember that night, I'm like, no. Not tonight, though. I need to wait until tomorrow.
I really want to watch it again.
I want to watch it so bad.
Like, I almost want to go see that again instead of see him.
Yeah, a little bit.
But at the same time, I'm like, I don't want to go through it again. It's like how Mockingjay is my favorite of the books. But I don't want to read it all the time.
I think also, lately I've been really obsessed with just watching happy things with happy endings. I've been sort of committed to that as of late. This is, like, one of the first things I've sat down and watched that was, like, nothing close to that. So I'm like, I forgot how good this can be, though.
When you do it right.
You know, I'm over here in Heartstopper land. I don't really want to come back.
But again, as much as I don't want to compare Heartstopper to this, it has the
Kit
same...
Connor is in it.
I know. What is his name? Cooper Hoffman?
Cooper Hoffman looks just
a lot like Kit Connor.
To the point where every time I see him in this movie, I'm like,
I know. It's not that they look exactly the same. They look like the same genre of person, and they have the same mannerisms.
They have the same, the thing they do with their
and also, eyebrow. Like, the way he was playing the character. I feel like if Kit Connor were in the role, he would play it a similar way.
Yeah. It was great. But he was really good. He was
very good. I haven't seen anything that he's in.
No, I haven't seen Licorice Pizza. Didn't want to.
I hate it when Nepo babies slay, but he slayed.
He did. he deserves the flowers. And then, who's the actor who was in Alien?
I don't remember his name, but he was really good. I remember liking him in Alien. I was like, this is a really good actor. I just didn't love that movie. So
yeah, and the role was kind of nothing.
Yeah. But I was like, oh, this guy kind of looks like that dude from Alien. And, he was really good.
Great.
He was really, really
Everyone was great. There wasn't a weak performance to be had.
Nope. And the freaking kid from Jojo Rabbit's in it.
Yeah, for a little bit.
Yeah, can't say much more. Anyway, what were... What was I gonna say?
Heartstopper.
Oh yeah, it had the similar thing where it was it was a pretty bleak movie, but it also was very realistic in the sense of what you were talking about, where it would like go from being really it would suddenly be really funny, but it wouldn't be in a way that it was trying to force it to try and make you happy. It's just like that's what humanity is, and so it felt like just a study on humanity.
Yep.
Which I love, and yeah, I guess that's a similar thing that Heartstopper has, where it can balance the depression and the funniness well,
yes,
and make it feel realistic when you're in the trenches of season 3.
And they did film this in chronological order, which I think helped with that just natural flow of things.
Yeah,
and also like, I mean, you can tell this is why it was so good, because at the beginning you can tell they don't
Getting
really
to
know each other, and then by the end, just the bonds were real.
My heart is broken.
That Evanescence song.
I can't.
Anyway, I will be like going much more in depth when I inevitably talk about it on my top 10 list.
Yeah,
because I have like a lot of things to say about some of the deeper meanings, but this episode's very long already.
It's an excellent film. Go see it.
Yes, if it's still there.
Take care.
Watch Sleeping Beauty and eat cookies after.
Yeah. I'm almost finished watching The Fall of the House of Usher as well. What an excellent show. This is the first time I've watched a Mike Flanagan TV or miniseries, I guess they're called, on Netflix, and I've been like, yes, show is a perfect format for this. Miniseries is a perfect format for this. The other ones I feel like could have been banger movies, but they have slow moments towards like middle end that I feel like could have been cut. This one I'm like, the format is good, and the gore is amazing, and the lore is amazing, and I love it a lot. It might be my favorite. Midnight Mass is also really good, but I think this one might be taking the cake. I have like 30 minutes left of it, so I'll have to get back to you on that. But yeah, that's all I've been watching.
Nice. I'm almost done with Dead Boy Detectives. I have one more episode. I did watch, before bed the night that we saw The Long Walk, watched an episode, and it kind of was like, oh, okay. It healed me up a little bit. I'll just say this regarding something that happens in the second to last episode and relating it to The Long Walk without spoiling anything. I love when someone confesses their love and doesn't get immediately shot after. To watch that specific episode right after that, I'm like, okay, thank you. You just give me that,
That's
please.
really good that you watched that. It came to save you.
Yes. But yeah, I'm really nervous to watch the last episode because I'm feeling it's gonna
set
leave
up
off
for
on
something else.
Yeah. Which obviously we're not gonna be getting.
It's gonna be as we say in Saw, setting up for a sequel that never comes.
A present day that never comes.
Yeah, a present day that never comes.
Yeah, but at least I am going to get into the graphic novels after, which I'm really excited about. And some fan fiction as well that I've been avoiding because I don't want to get spoiled for the show.
AO3 was down yesterday.
Yeah, well, allegedly, but when I checked...
It was on?
Yeah.
Sometimes they do that. Weird. Anyway, I hope everyone made it, whoever couldn't access the site.
I hope. I know how it feels to go without fan fiction for a certain amount of time. It can be nerve-wracking.
The withdrawals, they're real.
Yeah, I'm serious. Sometimes it's my therapy, legitimately. Anyway, do you guys care about this? No.
Well, if you're watching a movie podcast and are into the stuff that we're into, I'm sure that you're a fanfiction person.
I will be looking for fanfiction of The Long Walk that will give me a better ending.
Who cares about the point of the story? I just want to see them happy.
Well, no, I love the movie. I got the point. But fanfiction is a place where you can be in Happy Land.
Yeah.
Exciting things to come, you guys. It's spooky season.
I'm going to read so many horror books. I'm going to watch so many horror movies.
I'm going to watch Agatha All Along again.
We're going to watch Interview with the Vampire again. Talamasca's coming out. And after the Talamasca finishes coming out, we'll be right couple days away from Stranger Things. So, like, this is a straight shot for me, folks.
Wicked. We've got Frankenstein. We've got Five Nights at Freddy's 2 and 100 Nights of Hero, which are coming out on my birthday weekend. That's going to be insane.
We're going to see The Black Phone 2. Who knows how that's going to be.
Yeah.
But we're going to see it.
And
Very
then
exciting.
it will be 2026.
Yeah.
And we all know we got us stacked here in 2026. There are so many amazing things coming, guys. I'm so excited.
I hear the sounds of a rock god vampire echoing in the distance.
And two lovely British boys and their happy ending. And possibly a prince and a first son.
Possibly 2026.
Getting married.
Wedding bells of the first son. We didn't talk about the news that Heartstopper Volume 6 is coming out on July 7th for us. 6th or 7th for us.
One of those. July.
Yeah.
In book news.
Which means, I know it's book news, but it means that the movie is probably not coming out until after that. Hopefully still in the summer, but we'll see.
But yeah.
Anyway,
that's our ramblings.
exciting things coming. What's our next episode?
Oh shit, I always forget to pull it up. We have our top 10 slasher movies, you guys.
Ooh, that means I have to do homework.
Also, like, just talking about slasher movies in general. Make sure to follow us on TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram at We Just Want to Talk Movies, and make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel or wherever you get your podcasts so you never miss an episode. And that's all for this episode.
We will catch you on the flick side.